What's up guys, Dr. Ray here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to talk about a project I'm really excited about. So let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about GREENHEART Punt. So guys, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, I appreciate it. It really helps the channel out and it really serves the content out better to you and others like you. Thanks. So look, before we focus specifically on the project, guys, remember what I always say. A good project is only as good as the price that you get it at, okay? And what that means is, what's the best way to get a good entry into a project? Well, it's to get it cheap, okay? You could buy Bitcoin now at $57,000, or imagine if you bought Bitcoin at $10,000 or $2,000, right? The better price entry you get, the better the returns, the lower the risk, and ultimately, the better it's gonna be for you in the long run. So one of the best ways to get into projects is to get into them early. So you can do that in various ways. You can get into them through launch pads, you can get into them through pre-sales, or you can just monitor the market and try and pick up projects cheap that you think are undervalued. That's not to say that your whole portfolio should be allocated to these type of projects, but once you're experienced enough, it just makes sense to maybe allocate a couple of percentage points, maybe even up to 10 or 20% of your portfolio to these, quote unquote riskier but higher return plays. Right? It all just depends on how experienced you are and how much of a risk taker you are. So the project we're going to talk about today is one that's going to be coming out on the Mantra DAO Launchpad as well as the BSC Pad Launchpad, and that project is GREENHEART Punt. So one thing that crypto has really brought to the forefront is decentralized finance. And why decentralized finance is such an amazing topic is because it allows people to gain access to financial instruments that they wouldn't normally be able to access. Okay? Things that normally you would have to go to the bank, beg the bank for a loan, justify to them why you need that loan. What cryptocurrency opens up is it allows people to access these financial instruments without those barricades of the banking system. Now, you can argue whether that's good or bad, but ultimately, I think having more options is better. So what this project is trying to do is bring decentralized finance specifically to areas of the world, specifically to farmers who need access to loans in order to kickstart their businesses, specifically in the field of CBD. So again, you guys know my background, and this isn't me saying that I'm for or against CBD or anything like that. I'm simply looking at the project and simply stating whether it makes sense from a narrative perspective, whether the team is good, whether the venture capital is good, and ultimately whether it's a good investment. That's it. But again, ultimately, that's just my specific opinion, and I'm not giving you specific financial advice. I'm not giving you specific recommendations. You ultimately have to do your own research, right? This project could, it could fall flat on its face, right? I don't think it will, but that's a risk, and you have to be prepared to take that risk whenever you make an investment, because ultimately it's your money, guys. So what's a big problem that we see in the world in general? Okay, a big problem we see is most wealth is concentrated in wealthier nations, okay? And in nations where things are not so good, it's difficult to get access to infrastructure. It's difficult to get access to financial instruments, to loans in order to, maybe start a business, right? In poorer nations, it's just more difficult, right? And, that's the key focus of this project, is basically understanding that farmers have no access to mainstream financial services. Okay, and again, like I'm saying, cryptocurrency, or the better term, crypto field in general, allows us to bring services to these nations, to these people who haven't had access to these sort of tools before. Okay, and we can allow them to start businesses, start prosperous businesses, change their lives, right? So you guys can come and check out the website, read about the project, ultimately do your own diligence, do your own research. I'm not here to tell you whether to buy this or not. I'm simply just bringing it to your attention, okay? So when I look at this project, I see something that definitely fits a narrative that makes sense. It definitely hits a pressure point, a pain point that people are truly experiencing in the world. And remember, that's the most important thing, when you're first looking at a project, is when you look at a project, can you actually understand what they're doing, right? If you don't understand what they're doing, stop, go and figure out what they're doing. And if you still can't figure out what they're doing, don't invest in it, right? That's not to say that projects that you don't understand aren't good. it's simply a fact that if you don't understand the project, you can't keep on top of the project. You're not gonna be able to keep up the tabs on what they're doing, and it just doesn't make sense to invest in it, right? So what they're doing is fairly straightforward. It's easy to understand. They're providing lending. It's a lending platform, similar to there's other similar lending platforms out there like Aave and like Compound. So this is kind of in that similar niche, but they're specifically focusing down on people that are looking for loans specifically for the agricultural sector. Okay, so the second thing I like to focus on is always the team, right? Because like I say, you can have a great idea but a bad team, and you could have a mediocre or even bad idea but a great team, and the great team is definitely going to always outperform a bad team. Okay, that's just facts. So when we're looking at this project, we can see a strong team, well-rounded team. You can look these individuals up and see that they have a wide berth of experience. It definitely seems like the team is rounded out, and so that just simply boosts confidence in the overall project. Advisors look reasonable and good too, so no issues there. And I was just wondering where their VCs are. So venture partners look great. And like I said, this thing is being launched on two, I would say, premier launch pads. So BSC Pad and Mantra DAO are definitely well-known launch pads, and so that kind of gives you a sense that it adds to the legitimacy of the overall project. Okay, so yeah, just a quick video today, guys. I didn't want to take too much of your time up. Just wanted to bring this to your attention because this thing is going to be coming out soon. It's going to be launching on Mantra DAO and BSC Pad in the next couple days. So, I'm not going to tell you exactly how to get into this. That's not really my role here. You can go look up how to get involved in that if you want to. But even if you're not able to scoop it up, from one of the launch pads, this may be one that you want to watch, once it actually hits the exchanges. Just look at the price movement and decide if it's a good point to jump in or not. So again, look, ultimately, guys, I'm not here to provide you any sort of financial advice. Ultimately, it's your money. You got to do what you want. You got to decide if these projects make sense to you or not. If you're taking advice from just some guy on YouTube, well, it's your money to lose. But it's because at the end of the day, this is your money. This is your future. You have to make the decisions that make sense for you, and you have to structure your your overall portfolio, and you have to decide what sort of risk you're willing to take based on your overall your strategy. So if you like the video, guys, if you want to keep if you want me to keep bringing projects like this to YouTube, so you guys kind of have a heads up on them, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It tells me that you enjoy the content, that you want to see more of it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.